People will sometimes ask me who the typical hunter is. I think this comes from the reality that hunting is no longer central to our daily life as it once was for nearly all societies. Many people don't personally know someone that hunts, and their understanding of it is often informed by pop culture, which tends to caricature the identity of hunters. In reality, hunters are a diverse community of individuals with different backgrounds, motivations, and stories. Common to nearly all hunters, though, are principles based on respect for life and a desire to welcome more people to the table. So let's look at these characteristics of the modern hunting community. It doesn't matter if you grew up in a rural or urban setting, whether you live on the West Coast, East Coast, or in the heartland. Hunters are part of every community in our country. Beyond the safety requirements for handling a firearm and the legal requirements for hunting seasons, there are very few restrictions for anyone who wants to take part in the North American hunting culture. You might be a banker, an art teacher, a diesel mechanic, or even a high-tech engineer. You might own land where you can hunt, or maybe you rent an apartment and plan to scout the many public lands that dot our landscape across the country. Once you start down the path to hunting, there are seemingly endless options of where you can focus your energy. Hunting groups representing different interests abound. For example, Pheasants Forever and Ruffed Grouse Society emphasize specific species of birds, while NAVDA focuses on working with dogs. Some, like backcountry hunters and anglers, are working to ensure that we retain our access to public lands. Yet others, like the Minority Outdoor Alliance and Becoming an Outdoors Woman, create comfortable spaces to explore the outdoors with others who have similar backgrounds. I'd recommend you try going to a local event held by one of these organizations to learn whether they might be a good fit for you. If it doesn't feel like the right group, there are many other options for you to try. I can guarantee that you'll uncover at least one group that fits your style and personality and the type of hunting you want to do. Aldo Leopold was a philosopher, a conservationist, and a hunter who lived in the early part of the 20th century. In his famous book, A Sand County Almanac, he stated that a peculiar virtue in wildlife ethics is that the hunter ordinarily has no gallery to applaud or disapprove of his conduct. Whatever his acts, they are dictated by his own conscience rather than a mob of onlookers. It is difficult to exaggerate the importance of this fact. Aldo Leopold's words are a good illustration of how the principles and ethics of a hunter are not seen by many like they are often in politics, sporting events, or other facets of society. But just because there is rarely a public stage to demonstrate ethical standards doesn't lessen the importance of sound ethics and values that guide the actions of hunters. Laws that govern hunting, like shooting hours and bag limits, help establish the foundation of behaviors for a hunter, but they're just the starting point. Hunters often talk about the next level of ethics in phrases such as leave no trace in the woods or following fair chase principles. These, along with the growing trend of whole animal utilization, are a reflection of timeless hunting values, but also the consciousness of today's culture. Principles like these are codified through different means, but one of the most durable and universal examples are the 7 principles that define the North American model of wildlife conservation. This model was created in the wake of market hunting that took place in the late 19th and early 20th century. Markets for the sale of meat and feathers harvested from wildlife was allowed, and it resulted in the decimation of several animal populations. It took hunter and conservation leaders, the likes of Teddy Roosevelt, Aldo Leopold, and many others, to establish a set of principles that hold strong in the hunting community today. Those principles state that Wildlife resources are conserved and held in trust for all citizens. Commerce in dead wildlife is eliminated. Wildlife is allocated according to democratic rule of law. Wildlife may only be killed for a legitimate, non-frivolous purpose. Wildlife is an international resource. Every person has an equal opportunity under the law to participate in hunting and fishing. And scientific management is the proper means for wildlife conservation. Around the same time, many of these conservation leaders also established new forms of funding for wildlife through legislation such as the Pittman-Robertson Act, the Duck Stamp, and others that continue today. As you continue down your hunting path, I'd encourage you to study the history of wildlife conservation and these principles of engagement. They should underpin all hunting activities in the field, and it demonstrates the respect hunters have for our land, waters, and wildlife. The basic nature of a hunting experience can sometimes be solitary. Going after animals like deer can require the person to silently wait alone for the game. Upland bird hunting is different and can be a rather social experience, as you saw on our trip across the country. Not only does each person need to work together while in the field, there is much you can do together prior to and after the hunt. Each interaction provides an opportunity to learn, share, and connect with other hunters. Traditionally, hunting parties brought together fellow tribesmen or family members. But in modern society, the hunting circle often extends beyond those traditional bonds. Whether it's the local chapter of a hunting conservation group, respected influencers on social media, or the coworker who agrees to coach you on your hunting journey, there are many ways you can plug into your local hunting community. After watching this series, I hope you understand the foundational elements of upland bird hunting. I also hope that you feel the door is open for you to continue down the path of learning to hunt. Make sure you reach out to people or organizations who are part of the hunting community. I know you'll find someone who is more than willing to help you select the right gear, practice firearm safety, scout a new hunting spot, and a whole lot more. The hunting community is increasingly diverse, and the principles that guide a hunter's behavior are well-grounded and timeless. Just like the hunters who welcomed me into the field and shared a spot for me at their table, you can find people in your local community who will welcome you as a new hunter.